So welcome everybody. My name is Jorg Mieth. I'm a senior system engineer at Ikea and responsible for the Ansible automation platform.
And hi everyone, my name is Johnny. I work as a solution architect at Red Hat. I've been here 9 years or so, and for quite a bit of time I've been more or less dedicated to work with Ikea. And not to be forgotten, if you have a Linux question, there's also Robin. Please stand up, Robin. So if you have any question related to Linux, you can also go see Robin. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So, ready to go?
Let's start and talk about Ikea. Yeah, we will talk about our journey, how we applied automation to our company. But first, who has visited an Ikea store before? Hands up. Great. But more important, who has Ikea furniture at home?
What about the Swedish meatballs?
Yeah.
Whoa!
So I check it out. Here's the Ikea store in Denver. If you want to eat meatballs later today, go to the store and enjoy.
The food at the conference is actually pretty okay though.
Yeah, it is good. It is really good. Yeah, we are a Swedish company. Our founder founded Ikea 80 years ago. So we celebrated 80 years Ikea last year. And yeah, we have Swedish roots and a great long legacy. And our mission is to create a better everyday life for the many. So that means when you have a thin wallet, you should able to buy something from Ikea. So cost consciousness is in the heart of our company, and it is also in our DNA when it comes to IT. Yeah. So, and automation it's one way to be cost conscious and to save cost. But then let's go about the Ikea structure that maybe all of you don't know. Ikea is a group of several different companies, all under the hood of one mother company. But on the right side, on the right side we have the Ikea group. Ikea group is the owner of the Ikea concept, of the logo of the brand itself. Then we have one thing, and it's Ikea of Sweden. That are the designers that designing all this nice furniture and stuff and so on. And I had the chance to visit Ikea of Sweden twice, and was amazing. It was creative chaos, really amazing. Then on the left side you have Ingka Group. Ingka Group is the biggest franchisee of the Ikea concept. And part of the Ingka Group is digital. I'm working for Ingka Group Digital, and we delivering and supporting Ingka Group and also Ikea with IT solutions.
This is a very complex organization.
It is a complex organization, and it takes a while before you have understanding it. It's complicating things up. But yeah, we made it, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Next slide.
Yeah, next slide, please. Oops, sorry. Some figures. So around, I think the number is 380 stores at the moment, globally. That means the big blue boxes that you all know, right? Outside of the city. But we have something else now. Plan and order points and pickup points. So plan and order points are smaller shops where you can plan your kitchen, for example, nothing else, and order your kitchen. That gives Ikea the opportunity to go into the city centers and not outside of the cities. And we have established a lot of these small shops in the last years, and this also creates the dependencies or the need to deploy the IT stuff as fast as possible. A store is something else. The planning goes for years, and also we have time to deliver the IT. A planning point, it's from an idea to open the doors, could be in 3 months. So also the IT needs to be ready extremely fast. And here is where automation comes in place. Yeah. Then Ikea or Ingka Group Digital is our next slide. we are a global organization. We have a lot of offices around the world, 4,000 co-workers working only for IT. The heart of it is in Sweden, but we have also locations in Germany, where I came from, for example. We have an office in Philly, here in US, and then for sure in Asia, Shanghai, and the newest one is in India, in Bangalore. So it's a global organization, and to be honest, it's fun to work with all this different kinds of culture, mix it together, and working on the same goals. Okay, now to the real topic that you want to hear is automation at Ikea. And Johnny, it's your part.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks back, we had a visit from the Ansible BUs, or Richard Henshaw, if you remember him. So he and some of us from Red Hat was on site and had a conversation with Ikea on different topics. And one slide kind of resonated with us. So if you see at the bottom there, there's like these 3 other things like technology, process, and culture. And there was a slide, and I believe the slide was from like Harvard Business Review or something like that. They did a review. So they asked a lot of executives, like, what are the important points of being successful with automation? And 9 out of 10 or something like that highlighted like you need to work with technology, process, and culture. And if you forget about any of those, you're not going to be as successful with your automation goals. Now, I work for Red Hat as a product company, and it's a lie. You only need the product. No, I'm kidding. So as we go along in the session, we want to highlight to you guys that this is technology, this is stuff around process, and this are things around culture, to show that you work wide across these 3 things to make sure that IKEA is successful with their automation goals.
Yeah, and a lot of things that we will tell you it's collaboration between us. So that is also a recommendation. If you struggle with one of these, ask your Red Hat guys to help.
So to the beginning.
Yeah, to the beginning. We going back to 2017. A new initiative was created to build a new web platform. We want to have a faster, better experience for the customers, and we need to rebuild the web platform, Ikea.com. And the Linux team got this days the request to a faster delivery of the test environments. They really want to spin up servers fast, and that was not possible these days. So the deployment was slow. It takes weeks sometimes to get a new server with all the stuff that you need, DNS, IPs, the server itself, the configuration on it. So there was a need to be faster. And then the team looked into Ansible. The first installation of Ansible Tower was in September 2017, but it was handled by the Linux team. The purpose was provisioning configuration of the Linux servers, nothing else. But a lot of other teams around the Linux team heard about it. They said, hey, that's a cool technology, we want to be part of it. I was one of this guy, because at this days I was working as a Unix system engineer and taking care of Unix systems. And in the beginning of 2018, I get my fingers on Ansible for the Unix system that I was responsible for, and applied the technology very fast, get the best out of it for handling the Unix server that we have in the warehouses of Ikea. Around the globe, around 70 warehouses. In every warehouse, a cluster, and in every cluster or every warehouse, the cluster should looks the same. So Ansible was the perfect tool for it. So, but not only the Unix department was added, the database, and so on and so on. So this journey started there, and then I think Ikea did recognize some other problems that with the Linux systems. And I think that is the new part.
Yeah, exactly. So this was now also then, a couple of years ago, maybe 2019, maybe. And we were seeing some struggles around how Linux was handled within IKEA. So as Jorg mentioned, like there was this new initiative to like meet new customers with new channels, this new web platform and whatnot. So one challenge was like a large growth of new RHEL servers. And at this point in time, the standard, kind of like the way that Ikea configured servers, there was a very tight or high coupling between the technical standard and the operating system itself. And somewhere around this point, we were also talking about, Red Hat was talking about, so we're going to come out with a new cadence. We're going to deliver a new major version of the operating system every 3 years. And developing a new technical standard with that high coupling created that was difficult to manage, right? So that was also, something that we saw as impeding kind of like the growth of these new services and new capabilities. And I don't know, I'm sure you heard all about platform engineering, how do we create a platform that we can create variants of our product, database service, middleware services, whatever it is, right? And the current kind of like way of working didn't really scale to that new kind of like model. So if you think I think it's a perfect analogy, right? If you think about it, an IKEA kitchen, that's the perfect definition of a platform. You go in and you buy whatever cabinets you want, and you take your kitchen appliances and whatever you want, and you know that it will fit together, and you will be able to create your variant of a beautiful IKEA kitchen. You don't need to care. It's perfectly, there's good interfaces, there's good tools, there's good instructions, right? Yeah. These flat packs that you kind of like fetch. So that was kind of like one of my visions. And also at that point in time, you were a heavy user of Puppet, and that interface wasn't really easy for your consumers to bring their capabilities on top of this technical standard. So these were kind of like the ways, like the view we were seeing, so these are the opportunities to improve upon. So how do we make the technical standard modular? So how can we bring in other teams' capabilities like monitoring, backups, databases, application servers, and so on and so forth, and also have that good interface that makes it a good experience for those teams to bring their capabilities on top of the Linux team's platform. There was also some things around ways of working and things like that. So what we did, Red Hat Services has this concept around standard operating environment, SOE. How many of you have heard of that? Okay, cool. Oh, awesome. So it's basically this principle that Red Hat Services, they go out and meet hundreds or thousands of customers, and they're experts in understanding how should you design, configure, and deploy Red Hat and our products at scale. So we wanted to bring that into IKEA. So we then also wanted to make sure that the design and architecture of the Ansible installation was secure and kind of like with the architecture that could grow to the scale of IKEA. And there was also some other things like how do we do image management and stuff like that to make sure that RHEL was a very modern application platform at IKEA. And maybe you can go through some of the numbers on the slide.
Yeah, you see it there. So we need to handle 13,000 Linux servers with 500 plus application running on it. And when you need to deal with this size and amount of servers, then the old way was not a good one. So we need to be more flexible, and Ansible Tower or Ansible was one of the enablers to do this. And the Linux SOE is then also the foundation of what comes next, because the deployment and configuration of the Linux servers, everything in Ansible, gives us new opportunities for us, for our consumers, internal consumers, I mean. Makes things easier. Very important here is this point here, infrastructure as code and automated pipelines. We will come to this later, how we deal with this. And this also create some challenges that we need to attack. So it's not easy on this scale, but Ansible will give us the right technology to work with this environment. Okay, so Linux SOE was built in 2020, and mid 2020, end of 2020, there was a reorganization. I think you can go to the next slide. So, and because of the management understands that automation is a thing that we need to prioritize, they're creating a new team that's focusing on automation tools. So before, Ansible was part of the Linux team, and only one thing that they deliver. They move it out and create this team. I become a member of this team in end of 2020, and we're focusing really on automation. So we still really tied together with the operating system team, but we are our own, and we make decisions not only on the perspective to Linux. We create our goal for the whole IT department. So that was the first step. And the second step was end of 21, where we create, together with our left provider, a team called Automation Office. That was the next step in this journey. And this team is there to support our consumers to build the right automations, or when they don't have the skill, the headcount, or the time to building the automation by themselves, we can do it. So they came to us, hey, we have a request, can you automate this manual process? And we have sessions with them. This is a manual process, and we try to design a good automated way of doing it. And that is really then the point, processes. It's not only to write a playbook, it is also break the silos. Sometimes it is creating automation ready processes, rethink of the processes. Don't think, we're doing it for years, it should be the same. No. When you're automating a manual task, think about the process. Is every step really needed? Can you do it more efficiently? So that's the things that we do in Automation Office. And the good point here is we deal with a lot of our internal consumers. So we know, okay, this team is doing this team is doing this, and this team is doing this. The team that comes with the request don't know the stuff left and right. Yeah? But we can bring the teams together and share the ideas, and so that's the Automation Office. And now I need to...
Before we move on, so what are some of the outcomes maybe?
Yeah, I need to go to my speaker.
Oh,
now.
sorry.
The first year of Automation Office, we delivered 80 different use cases. And after the first year of Automation Office, we create a report. And out of that report, we can say we have saved 2,750 hours per month out of developing this 80 use cases per month. 2,800 more or less. Yeah. So that's the minimum. Sometimes a little bit tricky to calculate all the effort that you get out of automation. But only with the data out of Ansible Tower, we calculate this, and that's 2,800 more or less hours per month saving. So that was a great achievement, and Next slide. Okay, coming to my baby, I would say. The automation platform.
It's pretty when it sleeps.
I'm always happy when I don't hear anything about it. It's, and also this week I don't get any Teams message or mail something is wrong. So great. Yeah. Or the team behind me solves it. So next slide, please. So the environment, we have several different data centers around the globe. Our main data centers are in Sweden, and in both, or in each data center in Sweden, we have a controller node and a bunch of execution nodes. And then we have the data centers in US, China, and Asia Pacific, where we have also execution nodes. The teams that need this, so for example, teams that working with the store hardware, not only with the central stuff, they can choose this execution nodes or instance groups in Tower or AAP, sorry.
We like to confuse users by renaming products, so.
Yeah. By the way, the URL for AAP is still tower.ikea. something. Yeah. And they can use it, and the latency is lower, right? So it's important for them, especially when you think about Asia Pacific. It could be difficult. Yeah. So we have a warehouse, for example, in Dubai, stores in Australia, warehouses in Australia. It's maybe not a good idea to go directly from Sweden to this. Yeah. When the time is important, then it's good to have a execution right nearby. So we utilize here the full functionality of automation mesh. 60 teams, different teams are onboarded to our platform, and this is across Inter, Ikea, as I mentioned before, and Ingka, the franchisees. And I checked last month, so last month it was around 300,000 jobs, and still growing. It's going up. The nice thing that we have is integrations with Splunk and ServiceNow for zero-touch automation. We have a team that has developed a tool, let's say the application in the middle. When it's come to incident remediation, this tool will pick up an incident in ServiceNow or an event in Splunk, doesn't matter, and then trigger the automation job in AAP and send the result back. And also, when it's a ServiceNow incident, it will write comments into the ticket, and depending on the use case, it will close. I can give you an example, and that is a use case with CPU and swap. So we got alerts when the CPU is high or the swap usage is high. The tool triggers the automation job. The incident is coming in to the inbox of the Linux team. Yeah? And the automation checks, is this a real incident or is it a false alert? That sometimes happens. And then it also checks, okay, which process is eating up CPU, for example. And based on this data, the tool can map the incident in ServiceNow to the right team. In this case, it is a database team or middleware. And the Linux team that got the incident initially don't need to handle this. So in the past, they go to the server, yeah, that's this process, okay, I need to move this ticket to the database team, right? So, but this automation, this zero-touch automation, moves this ticket directly to the right team, and in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, it's moved away to the right team, and no one need to log in. That is one thing. Another example is problems that we have with our access points. You can imagine in a store or warehouse we have hundreds of access points, hundreds, and then try to calculate how much it is globally. A lot. So, and a lot of incidents related to access points. Some are false alerts, but real alerts, the automation is, or the incident is picked up, and the automation checks then some parts of the configuration, go to the device and run some commands, and all this information is sent to the incident, and the engineer that picks up this incident don't need to go to the device and run 20 commands and need 15 minutes to do all the things. They go to the ticket and see, oh, the automation has already picked up this incident and can read all the information, and we save 15 minutes minimum. Yeah? And this incident enrichment it's really a nice thing, and most of these automations use or run less than 30 seconds, so really good thing. And the other thing, the last one, is that we also have integration to create changes. AAP is a tool for techies, right? So you need to know a little bit about automation to deal with this tool. You need to know how to read the output of the playbook. Yeah. But you have tasks where you need to create a change with one C task for example, the Linux team to do something, and do it for a lot of locations. For example, again, warehouses, sorry, 70 warehouses around the globe, and you need to do something. The product operations owner, as we called, had this kind of problem that she needs to create for every warehouse a change to give a software vendor root access for a specific time window. So 70 similar changes in ServiceNow. Bad idea, right? And then also a change task for the Linux team that needs to go to the warehouse servers and give root access. We have automated this, so the automation office has created the automation. We have onboarded this to this integration tool. My colleagues goes into the tool, create a template of this change, go to the calendar view and then, okay, execute the change here and here and here, and the detailed information is site A, site B, site C. And this tool picks up then the C task at the right time, executes the playbook, and close it. And no one is involved. And the platform operations owner, with no technical knowledge about AAP, has created 70 changes in ServiceNow, completely automated, with giving root access to the software vendor. We revoke it after a period of time, completely automated, so great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So before we move to the next slide, I see some gray cloud in the bottom. What's that?
The gray cloud, yeah. We want to get the full advantage of automation mesh. And we have teams that have servers on-prem and they have servers in cloud. And they come to us and say, is it possible to automate everything regardless of it's cloud or on-prem with one single tool? I say, yeah, probably. And we tested it out. We started with Google Cloud because this team that's requesting it has servers in Google Cloud. And it works, but we need to tweak it a little bit to make it production ready. So I think it will be soon available for our internal customers to go out to the cloud. And in this case, Google. Let's see, maybe the next one is then Azure.
Fantastic. Some of the highlights.
Yeah, some of the highlights.
Beyond what you already said.
I think you saw it in the session description that we will talk a little bit about one topic. What I want to show you one of the latest achievements that we have done with automation. Next slide, please. That is our, I would say, charming stuff. Charm is our newest product from our department at the Central Hosting Automated Resource Management. And that is a fully automated deploying, provisioning, deprovisioning, and JT operations for servers. And there I mean really servers, so that means Linux plus Windows. What you see here is we started with the ServiceNow front end. A ServiceNow portal with this drop downs and text input fields. So the consumer is onboarded to this ServiceNow application. What is it called, Robin? Application? Service? I don't know. Portal? A catalog, thank you. It's a catalog item. And they fill out, okay, I want a server. Then select Windows or Linux, and then, okay, in dev, test, or prod, which OS version, memory, CPU, all the things, right? And then press the button, and you got a request item in ServiceNow, and ServiceNow creates then a workflow in Ansible automation platform. And this workflow, and here we go back to Linux Zoe because we build on this stuff that we already have, but we enhance it. So this workflow will first create a name. It will register the IP and DNS. It will provision the VM, and on top of it, it will configure the VM with our standard. All the rubric stuff, for the backup, and all the things that we need on the system. And for this, it will go out to our virtualization environment, to other APIs, and at the end, you see there ServiceNow again. When everything is done, it will create the CI in the CMDB. So when the consumer has provisioned the server, and then the provisioning is done in 15 minutes, everything, you will find this new CI in ServiceNow directly. So it is a really great achievement. And then you see on the front end part API again. So the first thing was the front end ServiceNow, but this is for the basic consumers. We have also the pro users, and it's the pro version of Charm is an API that we have developed, mainly this guy here in the front row, where the consumer can call the API and provision a server and don't need to go to the ServiceNow portal. Yeah. Okay, and I think this was mentioned in the session description. Next gen Linux state or desired state management with EDA, Event-Driven Ansible. So, as you have seen before, Linux Zoe is infrastructure as code. And because of this, we have set up scheduled jobs that checks the configuration of every single Linux server if they match the infrastructure as code details and is the configuration right. So every single detail, like the sudo configuration and other things that we configure there, locking groups allowed and so on. But the scheduled way, go out to 13,000 Linux servers every day. It's creating a lot of load on AAP. And a lot of these servers that are touched every day, and you have a playbook that checks every single configuration, takes a while and produce a lot of load. And in many cases it's not necessary because there is no change, right? So then EDA was introduced, and this could be a solution for us to go to the next step. And here is the solution. We have configured ODD on the Linux servers to monitor several different configuration files. And in ODD you can set up a key, an audit key, and this audit key always starts with something that is EDA underscore blah blah blah. So then our syslog is configured to observe the audit log and make a nice formatting of the audit log to JSON, because JSON is required for EDA. And our syslog is sending then this to our message layer, is Kafka in this case. And then we have a rule book that connects to Kafka, to a specific topic in Kafka. And the condition, in this case, is extremely simple. Is in the event...
10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. Yeah. Is in the event EDA underscore, okay, then please go and run the drift management playbook. But also there is a difference. With the audit key, we already know which part of the configuration has changed. So the playbook don't go to every single item to check. It only checks the for example, the sudo configuration, right? And doing it or reverted back the change to what it should look like, and that takes seconds. So that is the solution. What I have in my speaker notes for this. The basic is Zoe, that was the foundation. And exactly. This solution removes the unnecessary jobs.
But you also have other teams interested, right?
We have, I think I have at the moment 5 EDA controllers. So if you want to play with EDA, you can set it up as standalone. You don't need to install it with the complete AAP. It's only that you need to mention this is my AAP instance, but you can install it standalone. And for me, it takes less than an hour to build a new EDA controller. And we have several teams, connectivity, that's our network department, looking into it. Together with the Splunk team, we will look into it. Application teams looking into it. So,
Interesting times. So
okay, next one.
Next part. So the community side, the culture piece, and This kind of like started a bit weird or strange or funny, I guess. So we were actually approached by a partner, so a partner to Ikea and partner to us, to run an automation day event together with them and Ikea. It wasn't focused on Ansible, it was more high-level automation, like, I don't know, lots of different types of automation. And I approached Jorg, so we have this idea, what about that? And hackathon, he wanted to run a hackathon. Like, yeah, hands-on keyboard, techie stuff. And for I don't know exactly, I don't remember the details, but that event didn't really take off. So, but it turns out that Red Hat had done something we call Automation Connect. So apparently other like customers and Red Hat teams have come up with this idea before that, hey, let's run let's bring some Red Hat people to you and let's do a day of learning and inspirational sessions. So we kind of like partnered up with you guys, and I believe we were 9 people from Red Hat on site, and it was just fantastic to see. So we had the architects that were there to build the SOE environment, and we had different levels of techies and business people to kind of like have conversation around how do you do automation at the edge, how do you, lots of different things. And you guys also presented on, different learnings and the SOE stuff that you're working on and things like that, which was really fantastic. And I think this is it's an extremely important thing to how do you engage your users and how do you grow your community.
Yeah, exactly. And especially share what you do. Because we have a large organization and you cannot know everything that's going on. It's impossible. But this sharing things, know-how transfer is extremely important to be successful. So the automation day, as you see, was one of the things. Not only the only thing. Digital sharing days is also an internal thing where we get a small slot to just show what we do in our automation team. We have engineering forums as well to discuss problems and achievements around automation in a source community. So every code that we write, every Ansible playbook is available for the colleagues. And yeah, we have Slack channels, and it's extremely important for the success to build the right culture. Without the right culture, no chance.
Yeah, and on the last piece there about backstage, so this was kind of like an interesting thing, and I'll try to speed up here. So you guys weren't connected internally, so Red Hat invests in backstage upstream. We built a product from that, the Red Hat Developer Hub. And so we engaged in the community. So at one point we were at a Spotify event to kind of like tell the community what we were doing. And Ikea shows up. They talked about their usage of Backstage. And that's so interesting, like how do you make connections? Because sometimes it's difficult inside large organizations to be aware of all the things that are going on. So I immediately picked up the phone and called you, hey, I met you have a Backstage guy, it's the PO, and now they're talking and planning on how will Ansible be integrated into the Backstage at Ikea in the future.
Yeah, Red Hat is developing a plugin for Backstage, an Ansible plugin for Backstage, and as soon as this is available, we will try it out with our Backstage team. Okay, the last slide with content, the future. I think there's a lot, and I have written this slide before the summit, and the content from the summit says me, yeah, I'm right. Go back to Charm. The idea is, okay, fill out a form. It's sometimes boring, right? What is about going to Slack and say, hey guys, I want a server. Click, you have it. That would be nice. So we will look into AI, how we can enhance the consumer experience with provisioning servers, because it is a technical thing and it's sometimes difficult, and we want to create a nicer consumer journey, and AI is one thing of it. The next thing is our AAP is VM based, with all the pros and cons, and the con is that it's sometimes a little bit hard to expand. Every expansion of it is a downtime. So our plan is to build a fully containerized AAP. And I think the new version will help us with this. That's really great. Then we want to have a self-service onboarding to AAP, and that's great. Summit is about connection with other customers, and I met one that has this done, and I think we be in contact, right? We will, to make this happen for us as well, because at the moment it's a manual process. We have an onboarding session and so on and so on. So fully automated would be better. And the next thing is policy as code. We really like this initiative because when you deal with around the globe and all the different time zones, you have something to prevent that the team is not running a playbook against the store that is directly or at the moment in the operating hour. Also when it's in Sweden, it's late the day or something, right? Yeah. So this is our plans, and the last thing is the three things here. Go back. This technology, process, culture. Address all these three things to be successful.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, and since Ikea is a Swedish company, we would think to thank you with a Swedish version of that, which is tack.